Shalom, Barakatah. I just want to I want to say all praise to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, and I want to give honor to the elders out of Great Millstone, bringing the truth, and I want to give, and that's double honors to the elders out of Great Millstone. But I also want to give honors to the Akim that's out here pushing the truth and sincerity to the four corners of the earth. And today, what I'm going to talk about right now, and it's very important, is Sabbath. The Sabbath days. A lot of people don't understand the Sabbath. And I just want to tell y'all right now, a lot of y'all going to fuck off with this Jubilee bullshit. Ain't no book of Jubilees. You know, y'all keep with this jazz shit, Jubilee and Enoch. Okay? It ain't in the scriptures, the scriptures for a reason. Matter of fact, if you believe in that, you don't believe in the scriptures. Because they go, it makes the scriptures out to be a lie. But it's the other way around. The scriptures make that out to be a lie. So you can't use those books. And of course, there's some truth in some of those books. But that's the whole thing that Esau does. He takes lies and mix it with truth, and try to pass it off for truth. If it's one thing the Bible lets you know, truth is 100% true. So if it ain't all true, you gotta chew the meat and spit out the bones. That's not true, and you shouldn't even be dealing with that. You know, that's deceptive. But yeah, I just want to let you know the Sabbath days. We got Christians. Christians take their Sabbath days and they honor their Sabbath days on Sunday. Why? Because Rome does. Rome changed. You know, when they stop honoring the new moon, they start honoring a Sunday Sabbath. You know, and at one point they used to honor the Saturday for a Sabbath too. Before that, because you got to understand their days, the way they calculate time, they don't. Esau and this calendar does not calculate time the way the Most High said to calculate time. And if you want to know how to calculate time, you got to go to Genesis 1 and 3, and it tells you how a day ends. And I'm gonna go there, and it says, hold on, I'm gonna pull it up for you right now. Yeah, because you know they're not calculating the time correctly. So, in order for you to keep the Sabbath of the Most High, you got to keep it the way He kept it. You know, in the beginning we didn't have calendars. There was no calendars. What there was, He gave us a way that we are supposed to keep time and to be able to observe His high holy days, because these are His orders. So, okay, this is Genesis 1 and 3. And it says, and Yahweh said, let there be light. And there was light. And Yahweh saw that the light was good. And He separated the light from the darkness. Yahweh called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And the evening and the morning was the next day. So if the evening and the morning signifies the end of one day and the beginning of a next day, which it clearly states what I just read, so that means when it gets dark, that's the end of that day and the start of a new day. The evening and the morning. So the evening and the morning is the next day. But that's the way we're supposed to calculate the day. But in the kingdom that we're in right now, they don't calculate the day like that. How does Esau calculate the end of a day and the beginning of another one? 12 a.m., right? Midnight. So, if you go by that, if you use that calendar, which goes by that time, time calculation of 12 a.m., you cannot use sundown as a marker to start your Sabbath. You're going to have to use what Esau got. You can't use some of his stuff and some of the Most High stuff. You got to use all of the Most High stuff. The Most High said the evening and the morning was the next day. So if the evening and the morning is the next day, that means at sundown is the end of one day, and the beginning and the start of the next day. So that means that day is over with. But Esau say he don't care what type of light it is out here. He don't care if it's dark or light. At 12 a.m. he ends his day. So that's why you can't calculate that time the same way. You cannot calculate that time the same way. Okay, now he used the moon. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna show you. I'm not even gonna. I think that's Genesis 1 and 14. Let me see. Yeah, it is. That's Genesis 1 and 14. And it says, and Yahweh said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. So the new moon is used to calculate time. Judging, I mean, and it gave you an example. It says, let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. Okay? Now, what are the signs that we're going to give for the new moon? The blood moon, the new moon, the crescent, the full moon, the different phases of the moon. We're going to get that as signs. Okay? And for seasons, what are we going to get? What the moon's going to do for seasons? Okay, for seasons, it's going to rise and fall at certain times of the day. It's going to get dark early in the winter, and it's going to get, and in the summertime, it's gonna come out late. The days are going to be longer. Okay, and for days, at the end of the day, that when that moon come down and that sun goes and that moon comes out, you know that's the end of a day. So that's the signal for days. And for years, we know that every 29 days is a new moon. So 12 of those will equal a year. So the Bible ain't messed up about what it's talking about. So let's go to Isaiah 66:23. And let's see what it says. It says, and it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith Yahweh. So, there's your Sabbath right there. It's telling you right there that the new moon is the Sabbath. When it says from new moon to new moon, and from Sabbath to Sabbath, we already told you, I explained to you that a new moon is a month. It takes a month for a new moon to come. Every 29 days. And a Sabbath is every week, right? Okay. The new moon is the beginning of the month. It's the first day of the month. It's also the seventh day. Because if you start from the new moon, which is the Sabbath day, and you count 7 days from that day, you're going to have a Sabbath. If you count backwards 7 days from that Sabbath, you're going to have a Sabbath. So every 7 days is a Sabbath. But 4 Sabbaths is a new moon. So it says from new moon to new moon, and from Sabbath to Sabbath, shall all flesh come and worship before me. So basically all he's saying is from month to month and from week to week, you're going to come and worship before him. That's what that means. That's all it is. See, a Sabbath is every 7 days. If you break it down, 4 Sabbaths is a new moon. You know, 4 Sabbaths is a new moon. So, and that's just a month. New moon just means new month. That's just a new month. So the day that new moon comes out is Sabbath day. You count 6 sundowns from that day. And you have your next Sabbath. It'll be that next, it'll be the Sabbath. So that's how you keep the Sabbath. And you got to keep the Sabbath. You can't keep the Sabbath. It's not going to be on the same day every month. This month, it's on Wednesday to Thursday. Next month, when I look at my schedule, I'm going to find out the lunar schedule. You'll find out what day it's going to be on. It's going to probably be Thursday or Friday. You know? But people don't understand. You got to understand, man, the scriptures are so prolific in everything it says. Anything that's popular usually is wrong. Anything that everybody's out doing usually is wrong. It usually is not the right thing to do. It's all. I mean, just use your common sense. If everybody trying to celebrate the Sabbath on Friday to Saturday, or Saturday to Thursday to Friday, or Friday to Saturday, every week, like clockwork, come on, man. If you calculating, if you're doing what the Most High tell you to do, if He tells you to calculate this time a certain way, He says the evening and the morning is the next day. So if He tell you at the end of the day, when this sun goes down, that this is the end of the day, that's what it is. If you don't honor that, then you're disobeying the Most High. So you're not keeping the Sabbath. You're keeping Esau's Sabbath. In which case, you need to have your Sabbath start at 12 a.m. because that's how Esau keep his time. You know, and I'm trying to, you know, every Friday and Saturday I look on my timeline and I see brothers talking about Shabbat Shalom, Happy Sabbath, Shabbat your ass. Ain't no damn Shabbat Shalom. It ain't no goddamn Sabbath on fucking Friday and Saturday unless the new moon falls in that course where it ends up that way. Otherwise, it's not true. So, you know, all you people who think y'all know something, man, that y'all especially all these other camps. There's a lot of camps that don't follow the new moon, and the one and they unlearn, and they're gonna be destroyed. You know, you gotta understand the Most High raised up a certain sect. He always dealt with one person. If you look through the scriptures, He always had that one person He dealt with, and through him, everybody had to get the information that the Most High had to pass out. And they had to fall under that person. You know? Moses. And any of the kings that we had in the kingdom. So, He always dealt with that one person. He never dealt with no whole, with everybody, no whole group of people. It didn't work like that. He wasn't dealing with him, and then you, then you, then you, and you. It don't work like that. It's confusion. He deal with one man. And that one man, he carry out the gospel. That one man right now is Tahar, Apostle Tahar, Great Millstone. That's the man who the Most High is dealing with, and it kept Great Millstone. And He's putting out all the stuff that needs to be put out to the multitude. Some listen and some don't. But either way it go, it doesn't matter, because like the scriptures say, the call to hear His voice, His sheep hear His voice. So if you don't gravitate to it, you wasn't part of the elect no way. That's why we don't really care if you believe it or not. I want a lot of y'all not to believe it. I want a lot of y'all not to follow it. Yeah. I want this prophecy to move forward. You know? I'm happy they elected Trump, because the prophecy is moving forward. I don't want no good things to no good things to happen in this kingdom. I want it to be bad. I want it to be so bad that prophecy takes place and then we get up out of here. That's what I want. Whether you are the elect or not of the elect, you should want this kingdom to be over with, so the next kingdom can come, so that your life can be different. Because even if you're the least in the kingdom, you're gonna still be living 1,000 times better than you living right now in this kingdom, minus your wickedness. You know. So, and I just need y'all to know, man, you're not keeping the Sabbath. The Most High specifically said, throughout our generations, remember the Sabbath and remember to keep the Sabbath holy. That's what He said. And if you're not observing it on the right day, you're not keeping the Sabbath. You're definitely not keeping it holy. Yeah, a lot of you guys, man, y'all not getting it, man. Y'all not getting it. But it's gonna come a moment in your destruction when you see it, and you're gonna be like, damn. You're gonna be like, man, he was saying it all the time. He was saying it all the time. Man, I should have listened. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. You should have listened. You could have listened. You would have listened. But you ain't listened. You know, because it wasn't for you to hear. You know, one thing for sure, two things for certain. The elect of Yasharallah, whether they sleep or not, they're gonna flock to this. They're gonna flock to this truth because it's prophesied that they would. We got brothers right now. We got brothers right now that's out there right now that's falling out of the truth every day. And we call it falling out of the truth, but they never was in the truth. They were just being used by Yahweh to do certain things to make his prophecy come to pass. They were never in the truth. You just thought they was. There's a lot of people that's in Great Millstone and other camps that ain't gonna make it. Because they think this thing is the new trend, the new going trend and the thing to do. You know? You got brothers around here want pretty garments with pretty fringes on it and all of that. My garment, look at my garment. Look at it. I made my garment myself. I ain't got one of them goddamn Kung Fu Rick James ass garments. I got a regular garment. Because I'm not out here for show. I'm not out here to be glamorized. I ain't got no J's on that match my garment. I'm not doing all that. I'm out here to do the work of Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai. And that's why I'm here. I'm out here to wake up the elect. And the hopeful elect. I hope that at least one person that heard this publication that I put out here get to understand what the true Sabbath is, man. Because if you don't get the true Sabbath, man, you done. He said, throughout your generations, remember the Sabbath and remember to keep it holy. If you're not keeping the Sabbath according to the new moon and the lunar cycle, which he assigned to us, then you're done. You're done. I'm going to read you something. I'm going to show you, I'm just going to give you some examples to show you that the Sabbath and the new moon are one and one. Because the Sabbath, all the Sabbath is every 7 days. The new moon just signifies that it's a new month. It is also a Sabbath. That's why when they say one, they say the other. They go hand in hand. And I'm gonna show you something. Watch this. Here's some examples. This is 2 Kings 4:23. And he said, wherefore wilt thou go to him today? It is neither new moon nor a Sabbath. And she said, it shall be well. So the person that she was talking about was a priest that she was going to see, a man of Yahweh. And they was like, why is you going on this day? It ain't the new moon or the Sabbath. It ain't the beginning of the month or the 7th day. You know, why would you go? She said, it's going to be all right, you know. I'm going to give you another example. This is Ezekiel 46:1. Thus said Yahweh thy power, the gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days. But on the Sabbath it shall be open. And in the day of the new moon it shall be open. And the prince shall enter by the way of the porch. Salaki. And the prince shall enter by the way of the porch of that gate without, and shall stand by the post of that gate. And the priest shall prepare his burnt offering and his peace offering, and he shall worship at the threshold of the gate. Then he shall go forth, but the gate shall not be shut until the evening. Likewise, the people of the land shall worship at the door of this gate before Yahweh in the Sabbaths and in the new moons. And the burnt offerings that the prince shall offer unto Yahweh in the Sabbath day shall be 6 lambs without blemish, and a ram without blemish. And the meat offering shall be an ephah for a ram, and shall be able to give an or a hint of oil to an ephah. And in the day of the new moon, it shall be a young bullock without blemish, and 6 lambs and a ram. They shall be without blemish. And he shall prepare a meat offering, an ephah for a bullock, and an ephah for a ram. And for the lambs, according as his hand shall attain unto, an hin of oil to an ephah. And when the prince shall enter, he shall go in by the way of the porch of the gate, and he shall go forth by the way thereof. The only difference is the new moon is the beginning of the month, and the Sabbath is every 7 days. From new moon to new moon, from month to month, and from Sabbath to Sabbath, from week to week. That's what it is. So, all you brothers, man, that's out here, man, y'all keeping the Sabbath wrong. Today is not the Sabbath day. Y'all holding on to that Yiddish, Jewish, false custom that don't belong to us. So y'all cannot follow that. Y'all must let that go. Just like y'all gotta let that Yisrael and all that crap, that's all Aramaic Yiddish. You gotta let it go. You have to.
Go, Mike.
You know how you gonna call yourself a Hebrew man and you choose a name for yourself and your name ain't even Hebrew. Your name is Aramaic, or your name is Assyrian and Yiddish. Come on, man. That's just like me pick a Negro name and I name myself Mfunfu. That's an African name. That's stupid. You know, you gotta use your head sometimes. You know, you gotta be led by the Spirit, man, in the things that you do, man. Because when you follow your own interpretation and your own thoughts, you're gonna go astray, man, because your thoughts is not the thoughts of the Most High. And I came out, and that's what I came out here to do. I came out here to put that the Sabbath thing to rest. You can't, and you know, and hopefully, if you gotta have a brain, whoever listening, you gotta have a brain. You'll understand the scriptures and what they mean. So, don't say. He said from new moon to new moon, and from Sabbath to Sabbath. He never said the new moon was the Sabbath. Yeah, he did say that. He said the new moon, from new moon to new moon. Salaki. Anytime you hear that, anytime you hear new moon, you're going to always hear Sabbath right behind it. Because new moon and Sabbath are the same things. They're just at different times. The new moon is after you have, you accumulated 4 Sabbaths. That becomes a new moon, and now it's a new month. A Sabbath is every 7 days. So with that, I'm giving all praise to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And once again, honors to the elders out of Great Millstone. And Shalom.